Hey everybody, and welcome to the ECS Hangout. This is all the cool kids are here, but folks. This is sponsored by Control Freak, controlfreakcompany.com. Make sure you check out their stuff. We're here tonight to talk about all things automotive, whether it be retail, car shows, racing, modifications, you name it, and you are welcome to join. We're here every Saturday at 8 p.m. And don't just remember that we are on places like Facebook, IG, YouTube, Twitter, all over. So make sure you hit the thumbs, hit the hearts, make a comment, and I guess something that helps the algorithms be able to share it out. So you know what? Share it. Make sure people know about it. And we have a little comment section. So if you don't want to join in, say cousin Cletus has already said, I'm here. We see you. We're good. So as always, I'm your host, Primo, and always to my right is the master of ECS himself, Reggie, on the control panel, making sure that everybody is completely blurry. Because if he doesn't do it, I will. So we got as always we got two guests starting off tonight, which is kind of cool. We kind of wanted to keep an open topic tonight to kind of talk about all the crazy stuff that's going on. So Vinnie, you're always on here. You know the drill. Introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're about.
All right, I'm Vinnie, Creeps Car Club normally. Usually the old hot rod guy floating around. So that's me in a nutshell.
Perfect. All right. And you just got done doing brakes, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I did 6 rotors, front and rear pads on my wife's car, rear pads and rotors on my sister-in-law's car. I'm in the middle of doing upper and lower ball joints on my Jeep. So nice. I've been driving the hot rod.
You have my sympathy on the ball joints. So. But also we got somebody new tonight who jumped in very last minute. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're about, because I need to know.
All right. Hey, Stuff with Cletus, also known as Cousin Cletus, and that's because I call everybody cousin down here in Arkansas. Got a great group, if I can speak today, of automotive guys that we just help each other out, hang out with each other. We have a big event coming up September 30th, October 1st. It's called No Name Nationals in Sikeston, Missouri. It's for YouTubers. So
nice.
If you want to meet your favorite YouTuber, if you want to come watch them race, burnouts, car show, all of it's going to be at one place. So
do you have any notables that are coming out? Do you have any notables that are coming out that you already have announced? Or
the biggest one that we have some big ones that we're not announcing yet until they make their announcement. The only one that has made their announcement so far that's a big channel. There's some big channels, but the biggest channel is Uncle Tony's Garage.
Okay.
You got Classic Ride Society. You got some others that said they were going already. That's already, it's $75 for both. It's 2-day event for YouTubers to spectate. It's only like 10 or $20. I don't remember honestly, but it's nothing to meet your favorite YouTuber and to watch all that.
One thing that I've learned recently, and I just think it's so cool, is that people have both these generalized area people that are YouTubers, and then you have kind of these national YouTubers, and then you have all the stuff that's like just podcasts and stuff in general. And it's so funny that there's so many places there are so many people, and I'm getting introduced more and more, not just from this show, but on other stuff I'm doing, but these like kind of national circle of guys that talk about stuff, and they get hundreds of thousands, 500,000, like millions of views. And it's like, you'd ask people in New England or somebody in Florida or somebody in, California, they're like, I've never heard of them, and then we get together and we start talking, and it's like this person, you're like, no way. Like, it's just crazy that it's such a, people don't understand how small the world of TV is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for sure. And the automotive community is pretty small, especially on YouTube. Right. Used to be the only automotive people on YouTube was how-to videos, and now there's an actual, community of people that are just car guys.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great. It keeps growing. And somebody asked me about it. They said, what did you feel about that? And I was like, the more stuff that we get out there that's not just to talk about cars, like you were saying, the how-to stuff, because you can how-to conversations, speculation, all that stuff, the more stuff we have out there that's kind of a car thing, the more I think that we protect our car community in general, right?
Sure. The way
Yeah.
we can get the younger people in, the way we could get it, people my age or older or younger, everybody.
Yeah, and I think isn't that crazy? Because you think about it, you're like, what kind of car person are? There's a guy that does his own car. There's a guy that has somebody does his car. There's a shop out there that's doing their stuff. Then there's a person that puts together a car show. There's people that put together car events. There's guys that put together race events. There's guys that put together stuff where they film and cover those events. Then there's like the newscasters that do this stuff. Like you really, I mean, not to mention the people that sell the cars and the collector stuff and all this new genre that's built up around the new collector car scene. I don't, I mean, there's just so much stuff out there. I don't know if you could say you can't find something to do, right, guys?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Go ahead, Vinny.
I was going to say, they say the automotive industry is the biggest industry in the world. So, I mean, there's an outlet for it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I just imagine that, like, just not just here, like you and Vinny, you know that fully well. Like we've gone to groups, I think, especially with like the Gathering and all this stuff where we've got guys that come from Scotland, Ireland. I've seen guys from Germany, from China, from Japan, all these different places that have kind of come together to talk about things and say, we like the same stuff that you guys like. And now with the advent of the internet and YouTube and things like that, the people that were separated by hundreds of thousands of miles are now separated by a connection. If your connection works, and the time is, you're up when we're up, then by all means, you're coming on a show and talking.
Yeah. I mean, I have a cousin that lives in Germany who was pre-COVID was a mechanic on a rally team, and I mean the stuff he was doing, building. I mean, he was sending me pictures. That's crazy stuff. But I mean, COVID over there, they shut everything down. So he's a mechanic at like a corner garage now. His racing team couldn't handle the loss from COVID, so he's not on a team anymore. But I mean, the stuff he was doing was nuts.
Right. It's just this whole thing with, I guess, the more stuff has gone on, the more people have been, I guess, kind of, and I don't think it's happening here, but I think there's more of lockdowns that are happening than I hear from guys that are, like you said, Germany. I think China has been doing it a lot. And then the Japanese guys that I knew, they were saying that they were having issues. So I got to keep back up with it and kind of ask him, like my friend in the UK, I was like, I got to message him and just be like, what is going on over there? Because for us, it's pretty much normalized, if you will. We're going on. Yeah. But over there, I'm sure stuff is, you know what I mean? But so stuff with Cletus. Can you kind of explain? That's a show, right? And what is the kind of stuff that you go over? Is it how-tos? Is there? Kind of explain it to us.
Well, we do a little bit of everything on my channel. We do some how-tos because that's what gets the views. That's what gets the money in. But we do a lot of car shows. A lot of collaborations. We just had one, almost 2 months ago now, about a month and a half ago. We had 9 YouTube channels come down to Arkansas, and we put a 6.0 LS engine and a 480E out of a GMC into a Volvo 960 wagon.
Wow.
And we did it in 5 days. And just stuff like that. Just I go to auctions and buy cars. I have a little small car lot. That's what I do as my day job or whatever. And we sell cars, and we just have a good time and do anything that's car related. We even do a little bit of cooking and just try to have fun.
Of all the stuff that you have on your thing there, what's kind of your most popular thing? What's the thing that everybody kind of tunes in? What's your claim to fame?
Oh boy. I would say probably collaborations. I also do live shows every once in a while. I was doing it once a week, and now I'm just doing it once a month, but we'll do some live shows that we just get a whole panel like this. So we'll get up to 10 people at a time talking about something coming up, either an event like No Name Nationals or a collaboration, a build or whatever it may be.
Right.
Just try to help build the automotive community up, and that's a big thing we do.
Right. But for me, when I first got into this, and I got into this probably way too long ago, let me put it like that. Yeah, when I started doing it, there was a lot of stuff that came up, and for me, like I think a lot of people got into like the Skyline thing. In other words, the Nissan Skyline became big after Fast and Furious. I think it's funny, after that movie, used car sales went up 60%, which kind of tells you what kind of force that media can reckon with if people jump on board with it. But
sure.
before that, like as I was coming into that, before that, I was a complete muscle car guy. I had last car I had for that was a 76 Buick Grand Sport, 350 4-barrel, glass pack exhaust. Like I just had a ton of fun with that. It was so funny that I set it up completely different today if I had the same car. But then I got into this new world where we were doing this, we were sharing our video stuff. Back then it was still, we had CDs and trying to make DVDs and all that stuff, just finding that technical thing to kind of offer something that nobody else offered, but that introduced me to what do you call it, this new kind of thing, like this import thing. And I ended up doing new cars and things that I didn't think before. And then I kind of circled around. So I had an Eclipse GSX. I went to the Porsche 944, and then I started seeing stuff on the internet, and I'm like, hey, you can put a V8 in this 944. You can put a V8 in this. And then now today it's like, everybody's like, you can put a V8 in anything. And I'm talking like,
oh, for sure.
Everybody wants to put an Audi motor in something, or they want to do something like that. So with what you guys have done from the shows that you've done, and I'll start with you, Cletus. What is something that I think without the internet you never would have done?
Boy, so much. I've been on YouTube since 2009. Now I didn't really take it serious till 2019. So I do like a video a year, maybe a video every 2 years. Even wasn't doing much, but even back then, we still call it YouTube University. So if there's something that I don't know how to do, we'll pull it up on YouTube. We'll put a video. If there's not a video out, we'll put a video out about it. So we wouldn't have done any of that. We definitely would not have did this collaboration build where we put this LS and this Volvo in 5 days. That definitely would not have happened.
Right. And so that was something that did somebody have the pre-knowledge of how to do that beforehand, or did it kind of just you guys went, we're going to do it?
Yes and no. So we were on a live talking about we should do something. Mm-hmm. And two of the channels, they've done a bunch of LS swaps. And one channel was looking for a project, and we were looking through all these pictures, and up popped this, he did it as a joke, up popped this Volvo Wagon that had been sitting in the weeds for like 8 years or something like that.
Wow.
And me, I like wagons. So I'm like, hey, let's grab that and do that. And first we were talking about putting a Cummins in it and all this other stuff. And it ended up being an LS, and it just kind of happened. So,
yeah. That just ingenuity at levels. People don't realize, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have the old, I think I still have it. I got some old literature and stuff, but the old Jags That Run, JTR.com.
Yes.
Catalog in the how-to drop a small block 350 and a Volvo 750. So like it's all detailed and it's all black and white pictures. Like I mean, this is before YouTube, probably even before the internet. You had to mail away for the thing. So
Paul Newman did that. Paul Newman had a one he did. I don't know if he'd used that same catalog, but he put a Mustang engine in a Volvo wagon.
Wow. I just see what I'm saying. Like you just go, where did we think of this stuff? I was like, it was out there in the internet. We thought it was a good idea. One of the ones that I think there was a couple of guys that local to us was thinking about was they had one of the old Lotus Esprits, one of the old boxier ones. And the guy was like, they had a ton of motor problems with those. Wouldn't shock me. And the guy was like, yeah, just there's a Subaru swap out there for it. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, you can just go get a Subaru thing, put the Subaru motor in. He goes, now you get all the reliability. You're making 300 horsepower with the thing. And it's in a Lotus. So now your car that you're having all sorts of trouble with now works fine. Like, it's crazy.
I've heard a lot of people talking about swapping like the 3.5 Honda, like in their minivans and stuff like that, the engine like that. Heard about swapping that into stuff. That'd be pretty reliable, I think.
Yeah. All right, Vinnie, what do you got? You got anything you learned off the internet?
How to do ball joints in my Jeep yesterday.
You're obsessing over these ball joint things. Is it really? I mean, I knew it was bad, but was it really that bad?
Well, no, but I really can't think of anything. So
yeah. Well, no, there's a lot of the stuff that we were talking about with. I mean, there's coming a point, and you guys tell me if this is too far off. There's going to come a point where, and we can already 3D print the stuff that we want out there. So let's say we get somebody that can put together a frame. So all you have to do is have some kind of map and a welder that's worth his salt enough to put something together. Buy parts from other cars, which is pretty much how Porsche and some of those brands made their claim to fame, was as they came out and just said, we're going to borrow parts from here. But I mean, Porsche's stuff, the transmission on my Porsche has a stamp from Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche on it. So that just tells you how, Jimmy together everything was. So there comes a point when we can have a map where somebody welds together a body. Somebody will 3D print a body for the top of it. Then they'll find a motor, a transmission, a setup, follow a little road map, and then just drop it into the car. And now they've built a car. Do you think we ever get to that point?
Well, we do. I'll tell you, the two guys just popped in the chat there, 815 LXX Swaps and Wasted Talent Fabrications. Both of them, they do some crazy builds. They'd be the first ones to do it.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it then. Anytime I see somebody with an LSX swap, I'm kind of weak to that. So, but we'll get into the chats here real quick. Okay, so Franchise Pharaoh has a big shout out to Primo. What's up, buddy? Then he followed up with Volvo Wagon Blackwing LFG. And then 815 LSX Swaps. Hey, everyone. Wasted Talent Fabrication. What's up, guys? And then ECS said, what's up, back? So that's Reggie talking. So good to see you guys here. Thanks for tuning in. And Wasted Talent says, that sounds like the Factory 5 stuff. And that's very true. Like a lot of the stuff that Factory 5 does, both with, and I want to say, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, most of the stuff that they do with kind of their Cobra kits are, I think people try to stay with the Ford traditional engine with that, like the modular V8s and stuff. But yeah, for their 818, that was a Subaru. And then for the bigger Factory 5 stuff, so like the GTM, for instance, they did have the LS set up, and then with the new one that they're working on, which is the F9R, which I don't know where that's in the equation. They were actually they had a V10 sizing for it. So it's sized for V10, and the position of the motor was supposed to be mid to center. But that's still kind of within the idea of you still follow kind of that. You're still following somebody else's mold. When kind of comes the point when they can say, you know what, we're going to turn on the Cletus, cousin Cletus YouTube channel. We're going to look at his thing, and he's going to go, hey, here, I'm going to send you this thing that you print out, and that's going to be your new car. Like, is that a time? And how about this? If somebody recreates, for instance, the 69 Camaro and says, I can do it from this thing. I don't have to wait for somebody to sell me a car. Cause I think that's something that's conceptual, right?
Sure.
Do we
especially
look
now that some of them cars are getting harder to find? That would be awesome.
And then the other thing is do we look at those people and say, this isn't really acceptable because it's not original. You know how we get.
You're going to have some people do that no matter what. You know?
Yeah, right. I mean, this kit
I think as a whole, I think the car community would probably enjoy it.
I think it would.
The car community is so different with YouTube, especially. The car community is so different and people are open to anything. You know, hey, that's cool. I'll see where I don't much care for. Like, personally, I don't love donks, but I could see how much work they put into it. I could see, the craftsmanship. The only thing that I wouldn't say that, man, I see all the work is the squatted trucks. That's the only thing I can't get with. But
hey, everybody's the Kentucky squat. Everybody gets that. It's so funny. The two things. So the import guys have the hate on the Camber, It's just all,
Sure.
I don't know. We're one of these days we're gonna test how much actual camber it takes before everybody goes, no. And then we'll have another show where it's the Kentucky squat. So we'll start doing this until finally go, no, too far, can't see the road anymore. But yeah, like you said, and I think in Wasted Talent says you're always gonna have haters. I think that's true of whatever you do, you're gonna have somebody that's gonna find something negative. I kind of ask, is that the car community that's doing that, or are there specific people that are doing that? So it's like, how do we look at the haters and go, you can't really hate anymore? Hopefully we can kind of cut that to a minimum. That would be cool. But like you said, it's okay for everybody to say, I don't like what I don't like, and that's okay. It's more of saying, trying to be constructive criticism to the people that are trying to do the right thing, and then just going, hey, if you want to camber your car out until you drag it across the ground, I mean, there's people are always going to either lower it too low or lift it too high, and that it is what it is, and that's okay. And I'll never kick a gasser out of bed, if you will, but it's still that thing about there are people that when I first got into it, they were like, gassers, that's and I'm like, dude, do some history. Like, look at where those came from. Those are amazing.
I love those cars.
Well, if people could just take a step back and just, appreciate the work and the talent and, the creativity people put into their rides, even if they don't like them, it's okay.
Well, how about this too? How about we that's one thing that I think, because so when I did pro wrestling, there was basically a class. And what did the first thing the class did? It taught you the history of pro wrestling. So you didn't just know it. You knew where it came from, how it started, all that stuff. So you were made to appreciate what you were doing. When you get into art, the first thing you do is understand the history of art and what made art great. To be in the car community, you just got to own a car and show up to a meet. So I think the biggest thing is that we don't ever have a point where we have, and maybe that's something that one of our channels is really going to be able to do, is say, you know what, here's the history that got us here and how to really start to appreciate the things that got us here, and saying, this is how, people today would scoff at the idea that we used to drag race down an empty highway in the middle of Virginia, an open highway that was active and running, and we're like drag racing down the strip. And this, not to say, because I know the YouTube will get mad at me if I say not to condone breaking the law or doing anything like that. Because back then, I don't even think they might not have been a law back when we did it. But that was the thing is we had our private roads and all that stuff. Moonshine, for instance, I had uncles in my on my father's side, and my grandfather and all those are the guys that created NASCAR. They ran stills. Right. They did so that history that put us there, and say how we really enjoyed being outlaws. Don't we think that we've missed some of that in our teaching?
Well, lowrider started with people putting bricks in their car, I guess, to get them low in the back and stuff. So I think that would actually make a great YouTube channel, or even a series that somebody just go through the history of how this fad or how this came about, mini trucks and all kinds of, they could cover anything. I think many people will watch that. That's a great idea.
I think it's funny today because so one of the things me and my daughter like doing is we watch what's called Stupid Drivers, and all it is cams of cars. So they put the dash cams, and you just see these guys. And there was a time when I was looking at this guy, and he's like skidding out, and it's a little wet on the road, but I'm like, you have to be throwing the car out to make it crash. Like, do you really not know how to drive? I mean, that was the easiest thing to pull out for. You're not driving a Mustang, just straighten it right up. You know what I mean? But anyway,
I was about to say, that sounds like you're getting around to the Mustang boys.
There's a lot of guys out there just like, don't do it. Yeah. But so Franchise Pharaoh says, give me a G body kit. Wasted Talent. Do you? But okay, when you're destroying the car in order to drive it, is there a problem? Now, I want to add to that, Wasted. So somebody say if I'm wrong here, we as car tuners and modifiers destroy our cars kind of on purpose, right? Like, we do a lot of crazy stuff to our vehicles to find where we can get more speed, where we can get more power. I've blown up
Push that
more
envelope.
engines than I still use. So I kind of say, like, there's certain things I can understand why people don't like certain things. Hey, if you don't like a Yugo, if you don't like a Robin, if you don't like even the minis get some hate from time to time, even they're like one of the cutest, awesomest cars to ever drive on a track. But that's the thing is they get hate. But the thing is I want to try to find this way and say, you know, how do we find the good in everything, even when we've done something too much? You know, maybe like you're saying, the Kentucky squad is too far. Where was that person that went, yeah. Okay, now I can't see the road anymore. That's bad. But but that's the thing is if we're not, the only way we're going to learn to be faster or build a car like a Bugatti Veyron is to have somebody stupid enough to say, I'm going to go 700 miles per hour with this car. And we've had cars on salt flats that have literally broken the sound barrier. And I think that's just insane. Tony Torres, I appreciate all the makes and models and the work that's put into them. And that's good. I hope we say that a lot, but do we actually live up to it?
I mean, I like anything. I've had mini trucks. I've had somewhat muscle car. I mean, I had a Monte Carlo, but I got my hot rod, my rat rod as people call it, but I got my hot rod. So I mean, I have a lot of friends like the low life standard guys that all are. It's a tuner community. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I got friends that drive anything. So I'm not here to put anything down.
And that's one thing about and not to knock any other areas. I just haven't been to every other area in the world, if you will. But with you guys, with a lot of the friends that we mutually have, it was just so crazy to drive up because the one day I showed up to the big event. It's all these incredible, like, you know, hot rods and, you know, old cars and that kind of stuff, like pre-70s stuff. And here I am driving up in a Genesis because I'm like, hey, everybody, how's it going? Because I just want to enjoy it and be with it. And these guys were just so accepting and understood that I'd have genuine passion. I think that's really the trick is if you come up to these events and you actually have genuine passion and you're not in it to point fingers and tell people that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm going to judge everybody. That's not what I was here for. I really want to learn from people who have done it before and not just in one area. Because you got to think the lowrider guys have their groups, the hot rod guys have their groups, the antiques, the muscles, the race car guys, all that different stuff. And I know I've left a ton out there. All of those guys have their kind of cliques and they've learned their thing and then they've kind of brought it together. And so if you take all those people and you can put them together, I think you can pretty much run a successful event no matter what, right?
Yep.
Yeah, especially if you give especially if you get a shout out to the groups, you know, make sure they have their own trophy or whatever. Right. But going back to it, you know, if you go to a car show now, it's so much different than it was 10 years ago. You know, there's so many different kind of cars. You still got your Chevy guys and your Ford guys that are only like Chevys and only like Fords. But now people are bringing, you know, older Acuras and old BMWs, and you know, it's starting to break up. And yeah, of course, you still got your '69 Camaros and all that, but is different now, and I think it's great. I do personally anyway.
Yeah, anytime we have the more cars we have, the better. But I have some exciting stuff right now. Reggie is going to play something very cool for us. You ready, Reggie? Hit it up, buddy. Wow, that was loud. That was our first attempt at a midway commercial for Control Freaks, which is our sponsor, always Control Freak. It's controlfreakcompany.com. So yeah, we're first pitching. What did you think of it, Reggie? Did it look good?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll work on
it. No, I didn't have time to actually put the ad together because I've been trying to contact them to do the ad, but I know how to do it now, so it's good.
Yeah. Wasted Talent said headphone warning. So I think maybe the next one I'll be like, hey guys, turn your volume down just a little bit because I know I'm loud, but there are things in the world that are louder. I understand. So, but no, I thought it looked great. I just, like you said, it's something we want to add to the show is be able to say thanks to our sponsor. I always like whenever Brandon comes on. But yeah,
oh shit!
What happened? Vinnie broke it. If there's something, Cletus, is there something out there that you've done that you've learned from what you've done so far of all the people you've met? And the beauty of doing what we do is we meet so many different people that you can kind of bring to the table and say, if I had a big meeting of all the car guys in the world and all the different areas and was able to have them in one place and they couldn't run away and they had to listen to me, what lesson do you think you'd share with them?
Boy, that's a question right there.
Yeah, right.
Really kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier. Just be open to other cars, even though you may be a Chevy guy or you may be a Ford guy or you may be a tuner guy or whatever. Be open to everybody and see what everybody's doing. Look at the work that they're putting into it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't personally like it, just enjoy what they've been doing.
Right. And that my thing was because it's yeah, and something Wasted said, which I think, and I'm going to run with this because I like what he said, and I don't think I think I saw it differently than everybody else. He goes, "I'm all about ship boxes with LS swaps," and one thing is yeah, we do. We tend to berate our own cars. We self-deprecate on a regular basis about our stuff, which is because we hold ourselves to a higher standard than many of the people that look at our stuff. And that was the thing is I said, one of the things that we do, I think the most, is taking stuff that was dead and resurrecting it. In other words, we're not letting people forget about the past. We're bringing that stuff back and driving it around. And I think there's so much stuff out there, especially when it comes to media, that we're going to do this show. And then in 10 years, is anybody going to actually watch it and learn something from this moment? I hope. But there's a good chance that a lot of that stuff will be in a wash of white noise. But I can still get in a car, drive to a car show, and see a person that said, hey, I want all my cars with matching numbers. And then another guy says, no, I want my car to look this way or have a certain amount of horsepower or have all that stuff together and be dialed in. And we all are looking at this puzzle in a different way. Some people like their Ford motor. Somebody likes their Chevy motor. Some people like high revving V12 motors. Some people like, foreign, domestic, European, whatever. They have all their different things. But yeah, I want them to have an opportunity to really take all those things together and have an option to say, do whatever you want. Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Wasted goes, that's literally the backstory on your Volvo.
Right. Pretty much. Can
you explain kind of the Volvo story to us a little bit, or is there more to it, or just?
Yeah, we were on a live talking about a project for this gentleman, and we seen it in the background while he was talking about his other cars, and we made a joke about pulling out and put a Cummins engine in it, and in fact, Wasted Talent Fabrication was talking about retiring. He just retired from the Navy. Okay. And was driving from New Orleans back up to Oregon. In doing that, we said, hey, let's all meet up in Iowa where their build was originally going to be.
Yeah.
And let's get a group of guys together and build this. And at that time, we were talking about Cummins, and we swapped it to LS because we knew we were only going to have, 5 to 7 days. So that's what we did. We said we're going to put an LS in a Volvo Wagon. The Volvo Wagon's been sitting in the weeds for 8 years or whatever it was. So we got together. We all met up. It happened to be in Arkansas. That's where it finalized when everything worked out. So we got all the YouTube channels together. We built it in 5 days. It was a blast. It was great. I'd definitely do it again. I have the car here at the house. I've been taking it to car shows and stuff like that. Everybody that's seen it so far has loved it. Even the guys, a lot of people's first question is why. And of course, my answer is why not?
Right.
This car was going to the junkyard. So,
well, my thing is why not the Cummins diesel?
The time constraints mainly, and we still did a lot of more modification than we thought,
Right.
Than we originally planned on it. People have done LS swaps on Volvos, and you can buy motor mounts and things like that, but not the 960 executive. So not this wagon. So we had to be motor mounts. The 408E was a huge transmission to fit in that car. If we went like a T56 or something,
Wasted was just writing that. He was like 4L80E was the hard part. Yeah.
That in the fuel cell. So the fuel tank wrapped around the driveline. It had a 2-piece driveline, and the fuel tank wrapped around it. God. So that wasn't going to work putting the extra horsepower there. So we had to take and build put a new driveline in a 1-piece, and then build a structure that made the car structurally sound and gave us a fuel cell.
Mm-hmm. So, and you did this in 5 days. So how many hours a day?
All this in 5 days. Not much sleep going on. It was a blast. Wow. Great food, great guys. Everybody was working the whole time. Yeah. They knew what they were doing. Great YouTube channels, and it was great.
Yeah, I'm right now, and not to double back on it, but the lot of the stuff that I got into was kind of the Mercedes, a little bit BMW, but mostly Mercedes with the diesel stuff that they were doing. Mm-hmm. And that really caught on a little bit pre everybody getting locked down kind of thing. So 18 and 19, there was a lot of guys that were getting into it. And then they just did this big EPA has been busting down on people for doing this aftermarket stuff. But a lot of the cars that they were doing them on for the Mercedes was well beyond the 25-year mark. So nobody, I don't think anybody cared. But it was really cool to see what these guys had and how they came out with it, and how there was just something primal about that car, this gigantic luxury car it had to have been in the thousands of torque, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
But that's the thing is it was made, and it didn't matter the horsepower. It was more just the idea this thing was made to launch lights, and it was just so weird to have it. And then you guys are like, hey, we did this, and we didn't go with the Cummins. We ended up going with the LS. How much horsepower did you end up making? Do you know? Or?
We haven't put it on a dyno yet, but looking at the weight, adding everything up, we should be somewhere around 360, nice. Between that and 400, probably on the lower end, but
yeah,
it's plenty quick. I'm still tuning it. We have a Holley LS, Holley Terminator X harness and computer that's running everything. So
nice. And I wish we could see it. Now you got
it's actually outside, but if you go to my channel, I've been doing a bunch of videos on it. I'm going to be doing a whole lot more car shows. The No Name Nationals that I was talking about earlier, I will definitely be there with it. We're going to have a whole compound set up, the Cletus compound, that everybody's invited to come hang out, spectators or YouTubers or whatever. Come hang out, come see us, man.
And it's stuff with and how do you spell Cletus?
Cleatus. And you can type it Stuff with Cletus or Cousin Cletus, either one, and it should bring it up.
Yeah, I see Cousin Cletus Automotive. I think it is. Yeah. So good. Because see, I'm from the South. A lot of guys spell that Cletus thing different. I was like, at first, I'm like, is it a K or is it a C? And then you're like, CLEA. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm not even ready.
Yeah, some of them do CLEET. Yeah, there's different ways to spell it for sure.
That was the one I saw the most with the K. It's like a KLEETUS kind of thing.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I want to read this one real quick. So, wasted. Don't church it up. It's the trash content crew compound. No, that's
a whole nother story right there.
I don't know the context, but I'm gonna say it like this: the best places I ever worked out at had the old like meat hook hanging plastic things, the flaps that you walked into, and you were like, okay, I don't know what I'm walking into, but I know I'm gonna get a great workout. Is that kind of how your shop is?
No. So the compound we're gonna have at the No Name Nationals, it's just gonna be like a not a tent, but what are they called? Canopy.
Got it.
Have a couple canopies and trailers set up and stuff like that. Well, he's talking about the trash content crew. So on my channel, I took a Ford Escape. It was going to the junkyard. The engine was barely running, and I cut the back off of it. And I was like, hey, I got my own Maverick, and I spelled it different and everything. I'm like, I got a new Maverick truck because the new Maverick truck is based on the Escape platform.
Right.
And I thought it was going to be a joke, something quick. It was a pretty short video. And God, it got so much hate. And one of the guys said, no wonder you only have this many subscribers because you make trash content. I'm like, I got to run for this. So then we started saying we are the trash content crew.
We're the trash content crew. I like it. Okay, I'm in. How do I sign up for the trash content crew? So we have another member that has jumped on tonight, Mr. Franchise himself. Do me a favor, introduce yourself, let everybody know what you're about.
What's going on, boys? The one and only FERRO, Mayor of Cranston, Cadillac Joe, up in the building. How's everybody doing tonight, boys?
I'm doing excellent. We're talking about insane. Have you been watching the show so far? Or did you
I have.
So what's your,
I
you can maximize and give me some of the input that I need tonight. What do you got?
So I understand earlier my comment was a little weird. I said Volvo Wagon, Blackwing, LFG. Hey. So what I was going with was the new Cadillac Blackwing and a Volvo Wagon. Let's effing go. Was
my acronym thing is really short.
So, I know. You're old, Primo. You're old.
Right.
You're old.
I know. It is what it is.
So the Volvo we're calling the LSV because it's an LS Volvo. And
I
we
love
use the CTSV logo.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So
and as I was coming on, you were talking about putting more structure. You had to put more structure into the body of the car. It's a Volvo. Why?
Because
those things are built
because we had to cut it out.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. No, we had to cut it up to put in the fuel cell. So we had to build a frame for the fuel cell to put the structure back in where we cut it.
Oh, okay. I missed a little bit as I was coming in because I'm like, why are you gonna beef up a Volvo?
Yeah, it's definitely way overbuilt. We're using the Volvo radiator. We're using the Volvo rear end. It's holding up just fine. Yeah, definitely overbuilt.
It's like I feel like it's a safer, more reliable CTSV wagon.
Yeah, wasted talent just says they cut out the whole spare tire.
Yeah, the whole spare tire area. We had to cut all that out.
You don't need that where we're going.
Fuel tank that went around the drive shaft wasn't going to work for us.
Yeah, you don't need that where you're going.
Nah.
Plus, it's a station wagon. You just chuck a spare tire in the back.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
So, do you, Cletus? Do you have any more stuff that you're going to be? What's the next thing on the plate now that you've done this?
I've still got videos coming out on that. It's pretty fresh still. We have all the car shows we're going to with it. I've got a 79 F-150 that I'm kind of getting ready, building ish. I'm doing some different seats in it and stuff like that, getting ready to sell it. Then I've always had where I'm going to auctions and got the newer cars that the new trucks and new Honda Accords that I'm just cleaning up and stuff like that, doing little quick dealer tip repairs,
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how, because I have a concept. We were having this thing that I was on a guest on another show today. Reggie, don't take it personal. I didn't cheat on Reggie, but but no, I was on another show today and they were saying what was your favorite car? And I kept thinking about it and I was like, man, that's tough. Cause I like the luxury. I like big, long cars, you know what I mean? The 18 footers, that kind of thing. But then I also like kind of the performance car. Like I like a car I can throw on the track. So it's like you have your big luxury car, you drive home, and then you have your track car that you drive on the track. So we were talking about it. I said, you know what? I came to a point where I was like, if I want the car that I want, I'm just going to have to build it. And that's really the trick. So that's where you kind of go, is that stuff out there? And I know some of the answer to this, but I'll let you guys give to the input to this. Is the stuff out there to say if somebody says I want to build a car, is that available to them?
You mean as far as the information or the parts?
In general, yeah. Let's say
I'm not going first.
Right. And obviously, one person can't just build a car. You guys built that in 5 days because you had, what is it, 5-10 man team or something?
And we had been talking about it for months. We had it all planned out. I mean, it was there's no way you could just show up and we figured it out. We had another guy that had built one
that was almost like it, but a little bit lesser of a build. It had the smaller transmission. It didn't have to do the fuel cell, and it still took them over 3 months.
Right.
So.
And then wasted says there's a lot of ways to skin the cat. And I completely, that's the thing is there, what do you want to build is all, whenever we do, here's the thing. And I'm going to say this to anybody, and you, Cletus, you're going to jump on board with this the second I say it. Everybody out there has this thing in their head about what car they want to see and what they want to see at the end. It all works great until you put it into application, and then you go, okay, none of this is working. So the problem is, and then you get budgets, and then you're like, I built my first car, I'm just going to offload. The story of most of the kit car buyers out there that bought a kit car and said, I'm going to do this, it's going to be a great hobby. They read all the hype, they put it in their garage and went, I'm never going to finish this. So the biggest thing that if you want to do a car and you say, I have a concept from just, if you're going to buy a car and keep it stock, to I'm going to throw wheels on it, to even if you're going to go crazy, rip the thing apart and rebuild something completely different, have a plan, have a budget,
backup plan,
put everything together. And then when you're done with that, have a plan in case it doesn't work. Like, I'm not happy with this. Where you pull the plug? V1, in other words, there comes a point in every build where you have to finish it. It is in your best interest to finish it and then sell it if you gotta. But you know what I mean? Have that point of no return. And that's the thing is that's right there. That's what you guys had too, right?
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I have an interesting question. Yes. I don't mean to interrupt, but so at our age, we're all similar ages, right? So
29.
The kit cars, the kit cars, the kit cars, that we saw, like, the Ferrari Testarossas on a Fiero, the Cobra kit cars, stuff like that. Are we going to start seeing in the future G-body kit cars, fourth gen Camaro kit cars?
That's something we were talking about.
Is that going to be? Is that the new thing?
And that's kind of what I was going to touch on. Two things.
Well, then
First,
I made a good segue.
For sure. First thing I was going to touch on was, with the power of the internet, especially YouTube now, you can build anything. Somebody's already done it or something like it. And then the next thing I was going to segue is something like you were just talking about. What is huge right now is body swaps.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a new Mustang and put it on an old Mustang body, or you take a new old Mustang body and you put it on a Honda Civic body, or a F-150. You take and cut that out and put it on a Crown Vic. Or that's the newest thing, because you get all the dependability and the ABS and air conditioning, all that of the newer vehicle, but it looks like an old vehicle.
Right.
And Cletus, they also been doing that in the mini truck scene too. They've been putting neat Lincoln Navigator front ends on Ford pickup trucks.
Yep.
They've been doing the same thing.
Well, they've always done like the old S10s. They would take like a 48 Chevy and put it on an S10 frame and stuff. They've always done stuff like that, but it's sky's the limit now. You name it, you can do it.
So are Resto Mods the new kit car?
I would say yes.
Yeah, because
I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm just saying.
Sure.
Like I'm
there's a lot more work involved. So
I think kit cars used to be looked down upon for a long time.
Some of them
are great.
I remember when I was a kid, I remember going to car shows, and if there's a kit car there, nobody even looked at it.
Right.
But if you go now and you see a kit car or something like that, people are all about it. They might walk past a Mustang, there's just another Mustang. They're going to go look at the crazy build,
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm going to add to that too is the thing that when I was young and somebody brought a kit car, it was a Lamborghini Diablo or a Lamborghini Countach, and it had a Fiero engine in it. So it was like you had all the look and none of the play. So then they started going, hey, we got Fieros and we can put V8s in them that are stronger than the V8 that was actually the 12-cylinder that was in the car from the factory. And that's when Lamborghini was like, well, after Audi had picked them up, and what they walked in was like, okay, we're not playing that. Like, there's no way that's going to work. But then you think about the guys today that have seen these wrecked, especially with the salvage stuff out there when it comes to supercars. these guys taking and it just happened. Maybe it was the last SEMA or the SEMA before. Was the team that had the Lamborghini, I forgot which one it was, maybe Huracan or something, and they took basically a brand new Huracan, took the V10 out, slapped in a V8, made the car specifically rear wheel drive, and then made like 600-700 horsepower out of it, and now they've got a car that, you know, hey, I spent half the money that I would have if I actually bought the real car, and I made the car the way I wanted to, and there's not much that brand can really do against that because they're using pre-existing structures to make the next level.
That and you're slapping a V8 in it that you can actually
get parts for and have anybody work on.
Parts. You can go down to AutoZone, pick up something for it. You don't have to send away to Lamborghini. You get the Lamborghini tax on, you know, it's $100 for a bolt.
That's
like,
the beauty
whatever.
of like me slapping a V8 in my 944. Like, if I do it, if I have it the way it is now, I'm working on 86 equipment, which their air intake is a barn door, and basically how open the barn door is how much the it's mechanical injectors, how much the mechanical injectors, right? So it's like all I do is I'm working with and I don't want to insult the system because for the time it was really good.
I'm sure at the time,
it's a dirty system. It lets a lot of junk in where I don't want it, and it's very difficult to work within that architecture. You put a V8 in that, and I put a hydraulic braking system in it. There's the world. Now, what can't you do? You know,
say like I don't know if y'all guys ever watch Rich Rebuilds on YouTube. He takes Teslas and that have been, you know, destroyed, and he'll rebuild them and stuff. And Tesla, they don't want you working on their stuff.
No, they don't.
He took a V8, he took an LS and put it in a Tesla even.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so what I want to add this up. Wasted Talent says, yes, the oil change on the Lamborghini is like $7,000. That is actually a myth. I used to work at Lamborghini, and most oil changes start around $450. So yeah, and it's funny because
I've driven Lamborghinis
not
that fast for the price. A Tesla, a smoker Lamborghini.
Well,
the ones I've driven anyway.
Yeah, we need to get you in better Lamborghinis then.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Tesla was 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, and the Lamborghini I was driving was 2.8 or something like that.
Let's see what the long run is.
Right,
that Lambo's going to smoke
for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing that I like about so we were doing some of the stuff so we have a local track that races cars, and it's a open thing where anybody can come in. And of course the Tesla guys were like, we're bringing it. They had Tesla Plaid, like their top of the line killer car. Right. There. So you're like, dude, it can take 1.7 seconds. It's got no problem to beat a Lamborghini. Like that's easy. Then you start getting this stuff like, okay, you got to turn the launch control on. And what are your tires like? The idea that there's certain things, and the other thing is because of the way it heats, is that it has to be. There's certain things that happen. It can only launch a certain amount of times before it's starting to have issues with it, and that's with any car. You're gonna run into that same stuff. So yeah, it did really well against.
There's certain parameters for sure.
So of course the last race was against the Corvette, and I forgot which one. It was the nicer ones, not like a ZR1, but like one of the nicer Vets. Yeah, it's something nice. And he got in the last line. We thought for sure like this Plaid's gonna kill it. No, the Corvette won. And this was in a
low battery
core. Yeah, right. Like a low battery. But then he put it on launch control. He put in everything. But once he cooked it around there, that Corvette was like, yeah, you got me off the line, but I'm still with you. And then it just took it and just kept going. So
EVs are gonna eat up any other car in the 60-foot for the most part. Right. You just have that instant torque, instant power. Right. Doesn't matter. But out to like the 120. That's you're gonna reel them in no matter what.
Right. No matter and that's the thing is it's you there's gonna be ways of making systems that are going to be that are going to improve kind of the EV thinking, if you will, but there's so many things that go on with those cars that you can't overcome, that people are going to start realizing once it becomes, it's new to us. We get excited about it. We want to do it. And I have to say, when I started seeing the first Tesla Roadsters getting tested up at New England Dragway back in, I want to say 2010. And here's all these crazy fast cars. And they put the first Tesla out there. And I think it was doing something like 13.2 all day, but they couldn't, anything with speeds, they were just blowing the transmissions apart. You couldn't shift at all. But yeah, they were still, and I still think that there's still exciting. There's still something to that technology.
They're still pretty new too. So I think 20, 30 years from now, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Then what's it going to end up when they're doing? They start working on how the batteries work within that architecture. So I'm going to have one engine per thing, and then let's say I don't care about my battery length. In other words, I turn it the way I can turn that up to 10, and then just say, you know what, I'm doing it for the one run, and that's what it is. It's all nothing.
Sure.
Then that's a different kind of setting. And
the batteries get better every day, and
right.
Like I said, right now they're not there yet. They're not.
No.
They are very fast off the line.
Right.
But after that battery's off about 2 runs, it's like, okay, I've got to recharge all the way.
It comes back to it's really good marketing right now. So like you said, we'll hold off until I think it'll be something like on your channel. You'll say, you know what, we're going to try this and let's see what it's like to put this electric thing in here and do this. But the thing that I would tell anybody, which I think the entire world missed, was the power is all in the hybrid. So I'm going to do 2 front wheels or 2 engines that are going to get my 0 to 60 time as quick as I can.
Yeah.
Right.
And an all-wheel car is obviously going to be able to, if it can apply all that power equally across all the tires and you can get less wheel spin. I was launching my clips at 4,500 RPMs, which is why the Corvette guys were like, I can't keep up with him. Now you get back to the idea of saying you do that with electric, and the electric to 0 to 60, and then you let an engine somewhere take over. Then you've got all your pros and cons all at the same time.
Well, I was going to say, if there's some kind of if they can figure out how to keep that initial torque in that launch, but still have some kind of gearing,
exactly,
like some kind of shifting,
right?
Even I mean, it's just electric. Put a program in, like boopity boppity boop. Come on,
bippity boppity boop. Yeah,
make
exactly.
It feel like when I hit second, I give a little hits there. All right,
Cletus is going to base his whole entire new shop on the bippity boppity boop now.
So, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying. Hey,
I mean, what was it? You're the trash build, or how was the wording of
trash
it?
Content crew?
Trash content crew. There we go. So I mean, we're going to upgrade to the
happy
bippity
to
boppity
provide-
boop trash content crew, and we're golden.
I am happy to provide as much trash content as you want. Take it all.
Like Wasted says here, that needs to be a T-shirt.
Right. Oh, dude, that's it. Dude, I would buy that shirt. I'm telling you. I don't even care who had it. I would buy it.
I'll put it on my merch site here.
There you
Probably
go.
today or tomorrow. That's great.
That would be awesome. So yeah. So whoa, we got some. Is this Reggie? Is this current content or is this?
Is this live?
No, it's not live. That was a little glimpse of the photo shoot from the recent print release.
So the photo shoot of her coming to my house.
No.
Oh,
no.
Darn it. Do we at least have her phone number? I mean, seriously, guy, you can't do this to me.
I didn't mean to do that. I was just seeing what would happen. I didn't know it was going to come up on the screen like that, but it's cool.
It was great when it was a combo breaker for the entire conversation. We were like talking about the bippity boppity boop, and all of a sudden it was like all girl on truck, and that
might have saved me on that one.
Smooth.
Made the conversation go a different way.
Yeah, it was like, where are we going here? Okay, yep. I know we're good. Girl on truck. I'm in. What do we have to do?
All right.
So yeah, but how many, Reggie? How do you how many shows are you guys covering right now?
I think we're at like 2 or 3 shows this weekend. It's like every weekend now.
Yeah,
it's great weather, and I'm glad the car shows are back.
Oh,
really
thank goodness. Yeah,
I know we're going. One of the biggest ones we're going to be at. What is it? Scraping the Coast in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Oh, I've heard about that one. That's pretty big.
Yeah, I got 2 photographers. One's releasing his brand new paint job that he just done, ECS Bobby. So, and then I think ECS Danny from Florida is going to be there, and then I also think Sergio is going to be there too. So yeah, there's like 3 ECS photographers there.
Wow.
So do you guys do the Hot Rod Power Tour, or did y'all do Super Chevy or anything like that?
Unfortunately, not, because I mean we got 22 photographers all over the east half of the United States and now Canada.
Yep.
But the problem is trying to we cover all types of car shows, and when one tries to get us at one car show, we're already at another one. And it's hard, it's kind of difficult, man. It really is, because there's so many shows and so many different types of car shows, and we cover it all. So I mean, if we cover just a lowrider show or a mini truck show or something like that, it'd be different. But we do it all,
Right.
so that's why we really don't cover meets anymore. We just focus on major shows and
Hot Rods on the Hill, Creep Show.
Yes.
yes, Vinny,
Just saying.
I know that.
Just so
We need to
you
get you
don't
guys out to No
forget.
Name National, though, for sure. It's gonna be a huge event.
I'm gonna have to be there, Vinny.
Sorry, Cletus. He's the Vinny and I obsess over a certain show.
Oh, okay.
On a, so we kind of push Reggie to.
I went to the Creeps Car Show the first year, I think it was, wasn't it?
No. You went to like the fourth one.
Okay, I went to the fourth one. I made a mistake, but it was my first one at the fourth one.
Oh my god!
I was told there'd be no math.
Well,
Dude, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I'm in
Only
unfortunately
the one.
I'm unfortunate state of Rhode Island, and Rhode Island don't like inspecting my Tahoe, so
Hey, I told you where you could go.
I know a guy, yeah.
Well, yeah, you know a guy. I know
We
a
all
guy
know
who
the
knows a
same-
guy.
We all know the same guy.
we're not
We
gonna
won't bring it
talk
up
about
here,
it.
but
We're not gonna talk about it on here, but
Yeah.
no, I ain't talking about it on here, but we all know the
yeah,
same guy, I guarantee.
I've had a lot of issues trying to get this back on the road, and I fixed everything, and it's been like 2 years. It's been sitting in the yard. It's driving me nuts.
We're gonna end up moving him to New Hampshire, and he's gonna be like, "What's inspection? I don't know." What's
Yeah.
What's the inspection we speak of?
It's a blessing to have all my photographers all over the East Coast of the United States and Canada, because if it weren't for my photographers, ECS magazine wouldn't be here today. It really
Nice.
wouldn't.
Yeah, and you have
Shout out
how many photographers do you have?
22 as of now over the whole
22.
East half of the United States. That don't sound like a lot, and it really isn't. It really isn't a lot.
Sounds like a lot to me.
Yeah, no, for a magazine, that's a lot.
That's me too.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a lot for a magazine. But when you cover so many different types of car shows all over the East half of the States, it's difficult, because certain photographers have a favoritism for a certain type of car. Does that sound right?
Sure.
So
Yes.
they're not all of them are open-minded like I am, or a few of my photographers are. Some of them, they go just for the major mini truck shows or just for the major hot rod shows, and it's difficult, because it's like you want them to go to everything.
That's their specialty, though.
Yeah, but I can't force these guys to to do what they don't. It's not really their cup of tea,
Right.
Yeah, but if you get you get a photographer who their jam, that's their thing, is mini trucks, right? They're going to go out and they're going to take the best damn pictures of mini trucks possible, because that's their flavor. That's their thing.
Right.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing, even though all of us, we all want everybody to get together, and, no matter what kind of vehicle you drive a golf cart or a Lamborghini, don't matter.
Right.
As long as you're proud about it, doesn't matter.
And that's the thing is I think one of the secrets here, and we have run a little bit over time, but I think it's okay, is that one thing that I think we need to stress now more than ever is that our community is getting very big, but it's getting very tight. And the reason is because it's becoming more community and family oriented. Maybe that's something that Fast and Furious brought in, is people just said, look, we got to be strong, and we got to be strong together. And that's going to come a point, hopefully, that people will start looking over and saying, it doesn't matter what you drive, because we all literally have the same kind of passion. It's just with a different, it's all underneath, it's all gasoline and oil. And if even it's electric, it's still, those moving parts are still important. So
Unless you drive a Nissan Altima, then you're just a horrible person.
I thought that was a Yugo, or was it a Robin? No,
Nissan Altima.
Nissan Altima.
Like-
Okay, got it.
Trust me.
Yes,
I
Reggie.
don't know.
I want all you guys that's in here right now, and the ones that are watching, to come in next Saturday, because this is going to start something for next Saturday. Next Saturday, I'm going to bring up a topic, and I want everybody to get involved with it, because there's something that me and Alan or me and Primo wanted to do, and
Mhm.
that's bring all the types of different vehicles back together like the car shows used to be a long time ago. We got to find a way to convince these guys to be open-minded and go to these car shows with an open mind when they see lowriders, imports, four-wheel drives, mini trucks. You know, everybody wants shows bigger. Well, one of the ways is if you have an open car show and you plan an open car show, let them come in. Don't
Mhm.
tell a lowrider 64 Impala pulls up to a classic car show. We won't go to Prima.
Yeah,
A
right.
64 Impala pull up to a classic car show that says open car show, and he get told all 13 lowriders get told they can't enter because they're not classic.
Exactly.
See, that this is going to bring another subject next Saturday, and I want everybody, if you're available, to come in because I'm going to bring in a couple other people that's been in the major car show scenes down there for many years.
Mhm.
And I'm going to bring in one of them that a lot of people down south know and that remember for many, many years, which is I'm going to hopefully get him on. He used to have something to do with another magazine that we just brought back, but just for custom vans. Because ECS Magazine also puts out Drop Draw Custom Vans magazine too.
Mhm.
So
Can I do a promo? Can I do a promo, Primo?
Promo Primo? Yes.
Can I do the promo, Primo?
With the promo? Go ahead.
Next Saturday, ECS Magazine Hangout. Make sure you're here for Reggie's special, the one and only Reggie, the special. We're going to be talking about bringing all the car shows together. He's going to be bringing it down and breaking it down for all of you out there, all you motor heads, all you petrol heads, all you car heads. Make sure you're here. ECS Magazine Hangout next Saturday.
ACS Magazine did not endorse the mayor of Cranston to say all that.
No, we didn't. Nobody had anything.
I mean, come on. No, you don't need to endorse me. It's fine. I expect a check in the mail, Reggie.
Right.
You said food stamp.
He accepts a little piece of paper that says "thank you," and that'll be it. Like, just
that's perfectly fine too.
We'll
six pack of High Life. We'll call it even.
Well, yeah, okay, you can get on that package, but yeah. So I think that's it for tonight, Reggie. If you're good, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, make sure you get over to ECSmagazine.com and purchase any of the print magazines. It's always available, never sold out. And also check out our merchandise and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We need to build it up. We want to bring everybody together, including Cletus.
Yes. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. Franchise Pharaoh, Vinnie from the Creeps Car Club, Cousin Cletus from Stuff with Cletus, and as always, our master and host, Reggie. I am your host, Primo. I want to thank everybody that came out tonight, all the people that put in the comments, all the people that gave all the input you had. If you're not watching this live, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget the bumper out there. Remember, it's Facebook, IG, YouTube, Twitter, any other things out there. You know how to share button, and you know how to get us every Saturday, 8 p.m.
Subscribe.
ECS Hangout. You like cars? You like cool people, and I guess if you like girls on trucks, this is the channel for you. Talk to you guys soon. You guys have a great week. See you then.